Coming up on LEX 18 News at 6.
Breaking news, a school bus crash with multiple injuries. An emotional sheriff speaks out 2 weeks after his daughter was killed in a crash. And remembering the victims of the worst drunk driving crash in our nation's history.
With coverage you can count on, this is LEX 18 News at 6.
He was one of the first on the scene of an accident that claimed his young daughter's life. Now the Mercer County Sheriff is speaking out. That's the LEX 18 Big Story at 6. Good evening, I'm Nancy Cox.
And I'm Kevin Christopher. Thanks for joining us at 6. We'll have more about the big story in just a moment, but first we've been covering some breaking news in Laurel County.
That's where a school bus has crashed and several students are hurt. It happened on 25E near Ferriston Road. Bianca Spinoza joins us live from near the scene with the breaking details.
Well, this happened at 3:45 in the afternoon, just as the school bus was taking students home from school. Now, sheriff's deputies tell me 64 students were on board the bus. 7 students were injured, but we're told they are not life-threatening injuries, although they were being transported to St. Joseph's Hospital in London as a precaution. Sheriff's deputies tell us it appears that the bus driver driving on Ferriston Road pulled in front of a truck that was traveling northbound on US 25. The driver of that pickup truck was flown to UK Hospital with very serious injuries. Of the students on board this bus are from London Elementary School, South Laurel Middle School, and South Laurel High School. Now, while they were being taken to the hospital, they did appear to be alert, and we're told, of course, it weren't life-threatening injuries, but very scary for the parents of these children.
They did a good job getting them all off and making sure everyone was where they needed to be.
He's got a problem with his knee, he said. I have no idea. All I know is my babies are safe, and thank the Lord in heaven.
Now, another bus did arrive to take the students that weren't injured home from this location. I spoke to the director of transportation for Laurel County Schools, who tells me it's too soon to determine what will happen because of this, but he's waiting for the Sheriff's Department to complete their investigation. We're covering the news live in Laurel County from the LEX 18 mobile newsroom. Back to you.
And now to the big story. The Mercer County Sheriff has worked countless fatal wrecks in his career, but the one that happened 2 weeks ago would change his life forever. Sheriff Ernie Kelty showed up on Perryville Road only to be stopped by his deputies. His daughter was killed after hitting another car head on. Now, for the first time, he sits down with LEX 18's Courtney Fisher to talk about that day.
Part of me died that Friday afternoon.
Sheriff Ernie Kelty sees death more than a lot of us.
I don't think even that day it never crossed my mind.
But who knocks on the sheriff's door when he's the victim, when it's his daughter who's died?
Even that day, within another 15, 20 minutes, I'd been on the phone with her.
But Alyssa never called. Kelty heard the accident tone out on his radio. Perryville Road, a routine wreck. But within minutes after arriving, he had to know who was behind the wheel of the car that looked like his daughter's.
I had to be there for my daughter. And any other way would have been terrible, you know, as far as trying to live with it, okay? I had to be her daddy, and I wanted her to know her daddy was there.
And since Alyssa's death 2 weeks ago, she's been there for her dad.
I may not be able to physically touch her, and I may not be able to physically hear her, you know, but I do feel her in my heart. And when I do start thinking, like, there won't be a prom for my daughter, you know, and there won't be a graduation for my daughter. When I start thinking like that, then I immediately go right back into praying, and I know she's in heaven.
That and community support, hundreds of letters, flowers, and donations is what's getting the Keltys through each day.
She had such a positive life, and she loved life so much. I want that positive to stay here. I want that spirit to stay here, you know, so I'll do my best.
Covering the news in Mercer County, Courtney Fisher, LEX 18 News.
Police have made an arrest in a series of shootings in Lexington, as well as a recent murder, and the suspect is no stranger to police. 24-year-old Clark Young Jr. is accused of killing Vincent Miles. Miles was found shot to death outside a home on Elm Tree Lane last month. While he was charged with murder today, he was already in jail in connection with the shooting October 10th on Whitney Avenue that injured 2 people.
To an LEX-18 update, the family of a man who murdered a Fayette County Sheriff's deputy says they want him out of prison so he can die near them. William Bennett shot and killed Joe Angelucci back in November of 1988 while the sheriff's deputy was trying to take Bennett to a mental hospital. Bennett was sentenced to 120 years in prison, but has been granted an early medical parole hearing. Bennett's family says that's because he was found unconscious in his jail cell back in September and has been in a coma ever since. They say he's in very poor health, needs the assistance of a breathing tube, and isn't expected to live much longer. They say they want him back in Lexington so he can spend his final days with them.
They don't understand. You know, how's it going to be a threat and this man laying there dying?
We feel like William Bennett is right where he belongs, in prison. Should stay there the rest of his life.
That parole hearing will be November 28th.
It's a dream that's becoming a reality, but in order for it to come true, there's still money to be raised.
Kristen Flum is here to explain how a couple thousand clicks could mean $50,000 for the film Impact after the crash.
It's a story about the nation's worst drunk driving crash in history. Kentuckians are all too familiar with the tragedy, but the film's directors say it's a lesson that needs to be spread around the country. And with a little luck, Pepsi will be the one to help get that word out. If you're a Kentuckian, this is a scene that is unforgettable. The day back in 1988 when 27 people died in the nation's worst drunk driving crash. Film director Jason Epperson has worked tirelessly to make sure this tragedy isn't forgotten. And during this season of giving, he's asking not for your money, but for your vote.
We're asking for a $50,000 grant for this that would put us over the top of what we need to make this film.
The ideas are all there. The project is finally off the ground. What stands between Jason and finishing his labor of love is money. And with some help from you and Pepsi, his dream could come true.
They're giving grants for all kinds of different projects. You know, there's different categories for education, arts and community, and different categories. So we submitted to it, and this month is the month. You have 1 month to vote, and they're going to take the top 15 people.
Being voted into one of those spots would mean a $50,000 grant to go toward his film Impact after the crash.
If you find it in your heart to be a part of something that's going to be awesome and is going to be long-lasting and can affect a lot of people, go to the website and give us a quick vote.
It's just one more way to educate, remember, and remind everyone what happened 23 years ago doesn't have to happen again. And if you're like me, you might find it easier to cast your vote through a text message, and we've made it easy for you to do so. In the address section, just put 73774. In the body of the message, put 109877. Vote now and vote often. The contest closes at the end of this month. Kevin, back to you.
And if you would like to log on to Pepsi's website or you need information about how to cast your vote, head over to LEX18.com.
2 beloved members of a small Floyd County community are dead after a fire destroyed their home. Relatives say 87-year-old Jewel Case and her son 63-year-old James Martin Case died when their home on North Front Street in Garrett caught fire around 1 this morning. Firefighters aren't sure what caused the fire.
We're following a developing story. Lexington police say an intoxicated man robbed the Fifth Third Bank in Hamburg this afternoon. Workers got a good look at the guy who police say implied a weapon and demanded money. Now, officers wouldn't say if the robber got away with any money, though. Police are also using surveillance video from surrounding businesses to help in their search.
And now, Chief Meteorologist Bill Meck and LEX-18 Storm Tracker weather.
Your day started with sunshine, but then the clouds moved in middle of the day, and a few of those clouds have had just enough oomph that you can see some stuff dropping out of them. A lot of it's what we call virga. It's evaporating on the way down, but a couple of folks May still see a sprinkle. We got one batch going southeast out through Hazard, another batch coming up northwest. You notice they're about equal distance away from the radar. That indicates that a lot of that is evaporating on the way down. But a couple of folks could see a sleet pellet or even a snowflake from this. You see it rotating south out of Indiana. Temperatures are marginal for that, but it's pretty cold aloft. You're talking about readings now down to 41 already in Lexington. Frankfurt is the same, 43 Monticello, Somerset, and London. Campbellsville comes in at 42. It'll be a clear night. It will be a cold night. The winds will eventually go calm. Say hello to temperatures in the upper 20s by morning, and say hello to one more cold day on Veterans Day. But your weekend follows, and it does warm up. We will talk about that in a minute.
All right, Bill, thanks.
We want to tell you about a pretty big traffic impact right now. Let's show you the LEX-18 traffic tracker. The camera pointed at Versailles Road at Man of War Boulevard. This is right in front of the Keeneland entrance. We're talking about 2 wrecks here, actually.
Yeah, there's a picture of one of them. That one looks like it's inbound, US 60 eastbound there. That road is blocked. You can expect delays for the next hour. Another one right across the street on Versailles Road westbound. And we're told that traffic is backed up from Keeneland to the Castle inbound because of that wreck right there, and at least one person is being taken to the hospital. Again, 2 wrecks right near Keeneland and Man of War Boulevard. So if your travel plans were taking you in that direction this evening, give it another hour or so before you take off. John Calipari picked up another big-time recruit today.
Mary Jo Perino is live at Wildcat Warehouse in Fayette Mall with more.
This one's exciting, guys. 5-star forward Alex Poitras kept his college choice under lock and key. In fact, Kentucky wasn't even thought to be the favorite for him, but that is until he put on a UK hat today. The 6'7" forward announced he's coming to Lexington this afternoon at his high school. Poitras is ranked anywhere from the 13th to the 17th best player in America, depending on which service you look at. And with the addition of Poitras, Kentucky's class is now ranked number 2 in America, and there are more to come. The Cats could eventually have their 4th straight number 1 ranked recruiting class, which is just amazing. Poitras joins Willie Cauley and Archie Goodwin in Kentucky's 2012 class, and also Ryan Harrow, but he's already on campus. Much more coming up in just a few minutes in sports, but for now we are covering the Cats live from the LEX-18 mobile newsroom. Back to you.
And more LEX-18 news after this.
Greatest generation. But today, there's only a fraction of World War II veterans still living, and in a few years there won't be any.
That's why it's a race against time for them to see the memorial dedicated to their bravery. Jeff Allen went on special assignment to show us how one organization is helping to make that happen.
The Honor Flight organization is working as fast as it can to get these veterans to Washington, D.C. I recently traveled with more than 100 veterans from the Bluegrass as they made the trip. Most of these men and women have never even met before, but they've shared the bond of war for decades. And now together, more than 100 veterans from the Bluegrass
I think it's great that we can do this.
Are making their way to Washington, D.C. With just a fraction of World War II veterans still living,
Who are at the end of our lives.
It's a race against time.
It's the last hurrah for a lot of us.
To visit the memorial dedicated in their honor.
We reach an age of the dropping off point.
And thank you for your service. I think you're going to have a great visit.
Greeted at every stop along the way, the veterans make their way to the World War II Memorial in D.C. Opened just 7 years ago, it's designed to pay tribute to the service and sacrifice.
We thank you of those that didn't make it.
Of all those that fought, and many who never made it back home to Kentucky.
Think about it, a lot of them ought to be here, can't be here.
James Toomey, known as Tiptoe, made the trip here with help from another veteran from Harrodsburg, Jeff McChrystal. He served in Iraq.
It's really emotional for me. Of course, they warned us it would be, and it is.
For some vets, it's taking them back to a dark place in their lives. My grandfather, Harold Roberts, was also on the flight. He fought in the Normandy invasion. It's a part of his life not often talked about.
But you just hope it don't bring back memories.
Painful memories.
It's hard to think of those things.
That the memorial is now helping them come to terms with.
Had a wonderful marriage and family, and I'm thankful that I could do that, and I regret that others could not.
And then, at the end of a long day, They were greeted with hundreds of people back in Kentucky for a hero's welcome home.
I don't think I could ever be that brave or courageous, and I just really appreciate everything that they did and putting their lives on hold so that we could live ours.
And these veterans are able to make this trip free of charge, but that's only thanks to corporate and private donations to Honor Flight. If you're interested in contributing, just visit their local website, honorflightbluegrass.org. On special assignment, Jeff Allen, back to you.
And to all our veterans, thank you. Bill's got your Storm Tracker forecast right after this.
And now, Chief Meteorologist Bill Meck and LEX-18 Storm Tracker weather.
Well, we began the day with sunshine. The clouds rolled in middle of the day, and a few folks have even seen a little sprinkler or an ice pellet wander by. Sleet. Anyway, let's go and check what's going on. Max Track Live Doppler, and we're not seeing a whole lot out there. Most of what we're seeing now, eastern Kentucky and southern Indiana. Again, there may still be a spot or two where a little something's reaching the ground, but most of this is what we call virga. It means it's evaporating on the way down. It has been a chilly day, and the winds, boy, wind chill factors have been running low in mid-30s a better part of the day. We're down to 33 right now for the wind chill in Lexington. That's cold. We'll be around 40. In fact, it looks like we're going to be even colder than that as we go through this evening. Temperatures dropping off in a hurry. Sunshine, upper 20s starting your day tomorrow. Mostly sunny at lunchtime. We'll be in the mid-40s. There's the cold of the day as we get it started on Veterans Day. Upper 20s for most. There'll be some colder pockets out there. Some of the colder valleys will be down low in mid-20s. Now tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have more sunshine than today and also less wind, but it's still going to be cold. Upper 40s for the high tomorrow. We are looking at our weather bug camera here, and actually we're going to look at temperatures first. 41 in Frankfort, 41 in Danville, Somerset, Monticello, London, all at 43. Jackson is at 44. Now, as promised, there is your weather bug camera, and you watch as the day moved through here. 41 right now in Lexington. There are the clouds that came in the middle of the day. Northwest wind comes in at 14. Best we could do for a high today was 49. That's cold. There's the clear skies that we had early this morning. Watch these clouds just rotate down in. That's what we call backlash. The storm's going up through the lakes. You can see the counterclockwise rotation right there. That is what's producing. And there's a little snow up across the lakes, and mostly northern Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. We're going to get rid of that. And when that happens, then our weather improves dramatically as we get you into the weekend, which is some pretty good timing. A little reinforcing cool shot is going to rotate through. It may cause a little snow up in the mountains of West Virginia. For us, though, it's high pressure building in. And what do highs do? They clear things out. They will eventually warm things up. Now, tomorrow, not so much. It'll be another chilly day. But as the high slides off to the east on Saturday, our winds turn more out of the southwest. That is your warm-up. By the way, as we get you into Sunday, you see all those lines. Those will roll in here for Sunday. It's going to be a windy day. For tonight, the winds die down. Under a clearing sky, we drop down into the upper 20s. Your day tomorrow, Veterans Day. Partly to mostly sunny. It's still going to be cold. Upper 40s for the high tomorrow, but then near 60 on Saturday. It's going to be a terrific day. By the time we roll to Sunday, it's windy, but it's warm. We're in the mid-60s, and then rain becomes increasingly likely Sunday night into the first of next week.
Well, we'll just look forward to Saturday.
That should be a great day.
All right, thanks, Bill.
Coach Cal landing another big-time recruit as his Cats get ready to open the season for real.
Mary Jo Perino is live at Wildcat Warehouse with more.
Yeah, guys, you'll hear from Coach Cal coming up about that first game tomorrow night against Marist. And Alex Poitras was a pleasant surprise today. We'll talk about it all coming up next in LEX-18 Sports. Another day, another five-star signee. Such is the life of John Calipari, and True Blue fans are certainly the beneficiaries of that. Five-star forward Alex Poitras made Kentucky his choice today. Poitras signed his letter of intent at a ceremony at his high school this afternoon. No one really knew what Poitras was thinking, but as of last night, most analysts thought he'd end up at either Memphis or Vandy. Coach Cal pulled it off today, however. Poitras is 6'7". He's skilled away from the bucket and an excellent shot blocker. The Cats now have the second-ranked recruiting class in the nation. How many times have we heard Cal say this? I really like my team. Well, how much does he really like his team right now? Alan Cutler has that.
Deron Lamb has no trouble admitting that he didn't get it last year. He didn't know how hard he needed to work. He promises that this year it will be different. So far, Cal says he's doing the Josh route. In other words, he's putting in extra work like Josh Harrelson did last year, which changed Josh's life. Cal wants to see more of it before he's convinced. We're not suggesting that practice was easy last year, but Terrence Jones believes it's much tougher this year.
Yeah.
Not even close?
Oh, nah.
It seems like the middle name for any coach is unhappy. Coaches are never satisfied where their team is at, especially since it's not even turkey time. But I finally got Cal to admit it. For today, for as much as this team has worked, he's pleased with where they are and where they've come from.
I'm fine with where we are. It's that who we're going to have to play. And everybody doesn't want to accept when I said it's going to be hard. We just talked today. What if we want to massage the ball? We haven't done it yet.
As only he can, Cal's advice to a freshman has everything to do with how football fans in Texas talk about their football team.
I'm so excited. I just told him anytime he catches it in the post, hook.
There's nothing about Cal's hook or outside shot that True Blue fans won't really like. Alan Cutler, LEX, 18 Sports.
What a great story here. The UK equipment managers are participating in No Shave November to raise awareness and money for prostate cancer. They won't shave for the entire month of November and ask people to send money, make donations to the Marquee Cancer Center. These guys also didn't shave during March of last season. So what if they're bearded in December and the cats still haven't lost?
I don't want to mess with any type of superstition or anything like that. Coach Cal's a pretty superstitious guy, but if we're winless, ooh, that would be awful. And lossless, I don't think is a word. So if we're undefeated at the end of the month, we're going to try to keep it going, and we're going to try to keep raising money.
That'd be pretty cool since Kansas is next week. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
There tonight might be the night they say goodbye. Huh?
See ya. Yeah, we're going down to the upper 20s tonight. Tomorrow we keep it chilly, but more sunshine than today. Highs on Veterans Day in the upper 40s.
All right. Thank you for watching. NBC Nightly News is coming up next.
For the latest news, sports, and your Storm Tracker forecast, log on to LEX18.com. Coverage you can count on.